obviously can have very different roles. And sometimes you need someone who's better with the kind of team atmosphere, team psychology, maybe being a bit of a goon as well, so make sure people have fun and have a good time and can rebound from losses. Other times you need someone who's a bit more strategically focused or analytical. It kind of really depends on what the team needs. The Dota 1 trend you mentioned is kind of interesting because last year OG's coach also an old Dota 1 veteran. So is this a new trend? Is this a thing? Do the top teams have to go find someone from Dota 1?
Yep. We're going to find out if we are going to have a 5th game to the series or if OG is going to be back-to-back champions right now. It is time for Game 4 of the Grand Finals of the International.
Liquid's turn to ban. OG's turn to ban.
Game 4 beginning with the draft. I'm joined by Pylai and Gunnar, but don't get too comfortable, all right? Pi, I got a question for you. If it was newbie grand finals and there was a lot of talk about coaches, if AUI is like, I'm gonna give another TA another go, what would be your reaction? Are you gonna be like, all right, you're the coach, you know what's best, or are you gonna be like, dude, this TA is really not working out?
I mean, I would at least give him a minute to explain. Okay. Like, I would hope he would have a reason, you know, like, and then I would listen to it, and then after that I would decide. But I would probably I would not want to do it. That's how I'm feeling like right now. I'm not in the finals or anything. I'm not drafting here, but I'm just not feeling that hero.
Yeah, right and now. If we're trying to find symptoms of why Liquid are just getting obliterated in these past 2 games, it definitely seems like the Templar Assassin is not helping them.
Yes. It just seems that it has too many bad matchups versus Topson's favorite heroes that run you over. Because I can see the idea why they think it would be good. Like all these traps to make it hard to run in. But if you lose your lane that bad, and it's also affects, they're losing that lane and they're losing every other lane these past 2 games. When you do that, I don't know, what do you do? It's just extremely hard to play.
I think like you said, it's really not good against Topson tier pool, right? Like TA, Topson's not like a standard mid laner, right? I don't think you see him as this TA, SF, non-Storm, right?
Yeah.
You see him as this Pugna, Monkey King, Ember to an extent, right?
And then I guess Invoker, but even
Invoker, stuff like that. And TA beats all the standard heroes, so everyone's really used to playing against TA. And all his heroes are just good against TA. So it's like you said, he's just kind of used to, I'm pretty sure, just beating TA and TA.
And as we see the first phase bans, what's the new change? Elder Titan gets banned out, and guess what slips through? It's the IO. OG immediately snap it up.
Yeah, they haven't lost, yeah.
Pi, you were a victim of some Ana IO. What was that experience like?
No, it's one of those, the game we're feeling pretty good. And then suddenly, when that hero hits his timing, 15 with Ags, you're just dying. You're just dying. And I think it's not very complicated to play for him. They don't really care how he does in lane. They want to do fine. But then he's just farming jungle. That's all he does. And he has a very, he looks at a fight, right? And he's like, if I want to be there, I click the spell and I'm there. If I don't want to be there, I'm just going to continue to farm.
It's like having an alchemist combined with a specter in one hero.
A little bit. He doesn't farm that fast, but he farms he doesn't farm that much slower than anyone else. And he has insane timings.
His timings are just better for the gold he gets than most other characters. Yeah. His 15 Ags is
it's
probably the best 15 timing I think in the game right now.
Probably.
No, before talking about our game, it was they first pick ET, right? And I'm like, oh shit. The Wisp is in the pool. I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna pick Wisp. And everything, I had thought about, everything just looked weak. Everything just felt weak. And then but then you take a deep breath, you just go with whatever, and we can do this.
And Liquid take a breath, and they go for the Chen, which did bring them success in their first game, and they take the Omni Knight, which OG had picked earlier.
I'm a little surprised they didn't go for AA. I believe it's been banned out every game here, because
because the Alchemist AA.
Yeah, it's Alchemist. It's good versus, pretty good versus Shen, pretty good versus Omni Knight. I don't think OG will pick it here though. It's kind of awkward playing with a Wisp.
They don't really have stuns either.
Yeah. So I'm hoping Liquid have their last pick, right? So they have a lot of avenues opened up now.
I'm a little scared right now of this Wisp because.
Only a little.
Yeah. Okay, so commonly...
Wait, of this Wisp or for this Wisp?
Oh,
okay.
Because commonly you want a hero that gets on top of this Wisp, right? Especially that 15 timing. He's scariest when his balls are max range.
Yeah. Right.
And he's able to chase you, and then you get slowed. So if you get a little closer, he pulls him in a little. And he stays at this max range basically. Neither of those heroes are full commit heroes, right?
Right.
The Omni can supplement like one. If you have like an Ember, say, right, he can go in with a Grace, and that's
10
decent.
seconds
But
remaining.
these two are more like you want to fight. They want you to fight into them, right? They want you to fight in this Chen and this Omni for a lot of heal. And I think that's playing the Wisp's game right now.
This actually reminds me a bit. Liquid plays Secret, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe Secret picked Wisp one of the games.
Yes.
They did. And it was one of those, like, and Liquid had a similar like thing going on there with like a lot of heal and like they would push down buildings. And they just didn't let Secret get to their timings. Like they already had a Rax before Wisp was level 15.
10
Wasn't that
seconds remaining.
was that the Meepo game though?
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
it was the Meepo
So
game.
Meepo is banned out.
Meepo's already gone, yeah. So now I'm hoping, that's what I'm like, I'm hoping they have something, because you need this extreme, like, it just kills everything that's in front of it. So maybe a Leshrac or something like that. Lesh is gone,
banned.
so
Yeah, OG's been
yeah,
consistently banning that.
because I don't want them to end up with the life stealers. Or something.
Yeah.
I don't. I
Other
think it'll be
teams
very
had
hard
tried
to
the
play.
life stealer against the IO and it did not work.
Yeah,
OG's
I mean, it's too slow, right?
turn to
Yeah,
bat.
Like
Yeah.
you get this Mighty's Radiance timing, and you're still weaker than the Wisp.
yeah. And they also have to. Okay, there's a tiny pick, but Jarix has played it now. Thompson has played it, so they'll probably like hold on a bit. They'll see who plays it later. Because we played against the Bristleback mid with Aya, and that was spooky. That was frightening.
The other
Like,
ones they played are Gyro mid,
Team
Troll mid,
Liquid's turn to
and
bat.
Windrunner mid. So a bunch of these like attack speed or attack targets, I guess, steroids kind of thing.
So in this Secret versus Liquid game that Team Secret had picked the IO, Liquid went for a Chen, a Tidehunter, an Earth Spirit, a Leshrac, and a Meepo.
Yeah.
So the Meepo and Leshrac are banned out. Tidehunter's still available, but we're not enthusiastic about that
So-
hero. But Bristleback gets
Yeah.
selected instead.
This was Liquid versus, or no, this was Secret versus
Secret
Leechy,
versus-
right? But they picked Omni Bristle versus the Alk.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they ran this Omni Bristle and they won the game in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I hope that's what they're going for. I mean, I'm guessing that. And I think they kind of stole it a bit from OG now too, the Bristle.
10
Limited their
seconds
options.
remaining.
OG had a Wisp, right, with it though? It was like Omni Bristle Wisp.
Yes.
5 seconds
That was
remaining.
way scary, but they have a Chen to kind of like take place of the Wisp.
Team Liquid's turn to pick.
Most likely a no-tail Abaddon.
Yeah, because I feel like how the drafts are setting up, like Liquid actually have a chance here to get a draft that they can end this game quickly with.
What about a 3 Abba?
Yeah.
Are you late in against the Omni Knight?
I mean, I'm guessing that's like something like that. I haven't really seen. I know that RNG played a lot of
Yeah.
Abaddon.
Some of the Chinese teams play it as
Yeah.
a 3.
I didn't look at a lot of reviews though. I'm not really sure how strong is in lane or what his timings
They go
are.
like 0-2-1. They skip Miscoil early, and then they go early like Vlad Solar Crest and just kind of buff your team
OG's
up.
turn to
Yeah, sometimes they'll just straight up take Curse at 1 and just harass.
Yeah, just hit people.
Yeah.
So they picked Liquid pick Earth Spirit, right? Last time they were against Wisp in
Right.
the secret game.
Yeah.
So I think they're kind of like confident, right, with what happened.
I think they're feeling pretty good right now.
But they're still lacking the most important thing in that draft, in my opinion, which was the Leshrac and the Meepo. These are heroes that take structures during the downtime period, which Bristleback can kind of achieve that, but he needs some levels and some farm. He's definitely much slower than a Meepo or a Leshrac.
Yeah. So the last pick for Liquid is interesting. But on the other hand, like they'll see OG's picks now, and Timber Suns.
Timbersaw. So a hero that can deal with Bristleback, obviously, if you have reactive armor, then you're not too concerned about Quill Spray being spammed on you.
Yeah, I mean for OG it's good that they picked this because they need to buy time when Liquid are running down lanes. So, like they can cut waves, spam out creep waves. So they need something like
How
that.
does this Wisp scale to like 30, 35, 40 minutes?
10 seconds
Like, do you think
remaining.
this OG
Games
might
never go late enough.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
no, I have a feeling like if Liquid don't have like a substantial advantage by like, Wisp hitting 15 with Axe, I think this game is going to be really hard for them. It's just too much consistent damage without them being able to go on. Like they have an Abaddon is shielding this Wisp, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and killing him.
if it gets to that point, then Liquid are not ahead. I think this. We still have one more pick. Like maybe they'll pull something out. But how it's looking right now, like they need to get an advantage within their like first 25 minutes.
So even if the game's even at like 25 minutes, I think they'll lose, right?
Yeah, I feel OG should be
What a
looking
great hero Wisp is these days.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be fair, this is nothing new. IO being first phase picked is a very common thing in Dota 2 history. It's just
True that.
not in this role exactly.
No, exactly. No. That's the funny part. You're just first picking. Everyone knows it's your carry. It's carry Wisp right there.
I mean, I don't think it's had this high of a win rate, right? I think it has like maybe one loss.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember like back I think it was TI when it was released, like TI 3, I guess. Then it was pretty sure the win rate was insane.
The first TI that he showed up was pretty insane.
Yeah.
Even though it was very Western biased, very few Chinese teams were doing it. I think it was just eHome at the time with their tinies and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
that was like TI 2, I think. And they won
Yeah,
every game they played.
that's right.
Really? Yeah.
But other teams were still sleeping on it. Every single. That's one of the reasons why I considered Liquid. I had mentioned this on an earlier draft panel.
5 seconds
Earlier in the season,
remaining.
Liquid weren't looking too great, and it's because IO wasn't in captain's mode.
Yeah.
Because you had a free ban against Liquid every single time.
Yeah.
Just now, it's a carry IO, which it's a brave new world.
No, the funny part about the carry out is it's not some high skill cap. It's nothing like that. It's
pretty straightforward.
It's very straightforward. It's
You go Bassi,
Yeah.
you buy your Helmet Dominator,
Yeah.
you buy Ags, you buy Heart.
Win the game.
And once you have Heart, you can ditch your Hod creep and tether your mid laner
Yeah.
or your off laner.
Which, that's a good question. So do you think OG are going to look for someone to enable with their IO, like how they did the Bristleback in the past, or is the dude self-sufficient enough that if you have like the Tiny and the Timbersaw, that's the only partner you need?
Yeah, I'm a little curious how they're thinking about the lanes here. I don't think Thompson plays Timbersaw.
I haven't seen it before.
So-
it may have happened.
I think this is an off-lane Timbersaw.
OG's turn to
Do you think
pick.
there's any world
Liquid's
where this
turn
Wisp
to
is not a
pick.
carry?
Now there might be, actually.
I think it's a mid gyro.
Okay.
Off lane, there's side lane Timber versus this Bristleback.
Yeah.
And then a 4 Tiny, a 5 Abba.
Yeah,
carry
yeah,
Wisp.
One Nana. Okay.
That sounds about what they would do. No, because I think if Wisp is still viable as a 4 with Gyro. Because that lane, if you play that right, it's really strong.
10 seconds
Or
remaining.
you can just let both of them be cores,
Yeah.
and then it's really, really strong.
Then it gets
5
extra.
seconds remaining.
Extra spice.
So Liquid needs a carry or a mid, depending on what they want this Bristle to do.
OG is expecting it to be a mid because they banned out the Shadow Fiends.
So I think the Bristle gyro lane is actually decent for the Bristle.
Turn to
Okay.
pick.
So it's not going to be a Templar Assassin, but we'll go to another Weehawk Classic. It would be the Wind Ranger.
I like the idea of the hero better. I don't know how good it is this game. I'm not sure. I actually don't think it's that good. But like the idea is correct. Like you have spells that you can use on them.
It has a lot of damage that they can actually kill the Wisp at the start, right? Even through shield, I think. Wisp is killable if the winner has like, MKB, BKB.
Right.
You can't really stop him. Wisp
obviously-
doesn't really go MKB either for the evasion, so.
It's rare, but I guess also in a traditional sense, like IO being tethered to another unit gives potential shackle targets, stuff like that. But this is the last potential game for Team Liquid. Will they be able to stay in this grand final bracket? Maybe Purge can give a little bit more explanation as we pass it to him with the last word.
If you guys are just getting here, IO is the carry that has been dominating the tournament, at least one of them, and Liquid gets a chance to see if they can break it, but the downside is that they don't get the same heroes that they were able to use earlier to defeat it, so it's going to be a lot harder to beat it. So what they ended up doing instead is trying to abuse Chen. One of the benefits of Chen is that his aura increases the healing that any of his nearby allies or creeps give, and they're pairing that with another hero that can heal, Omni Knight. So those two guys can heal and buff up their strong tanky hero Bristleback and make him pretty close to unkillable. But on the other side, what OG's playing around with is also pretty strong. They've got IO, they've got the Tiny, they've got Abaddon who can also buff up, but most importantly they have Timbersaw. And Timber's a hero that has some flexibility in how effective he is, but most importantly his first skill will reduce the strength or primary stat, and there's a lot of strength heroes over on the Liquid side, so it's very possible that Timber can run away with this game if he has a good match. Keep an eye on him. Without further ado, Game 4 of the TI Grand Finals. Let's start up the casters.
Thank you, Purge. Game 4. OG up at the moment in this best of 5, 2-1 against Liquid. Their last two games, some of the most dominant performances we've seen from them from the entire tournament. In this game 4, Liquid, they have had the chance to switch it up. We're not seeing the TA. We are going to be going back to the Weehawk Wind Ranger. It is something a little different. It's something we know he's good at, but is it good enough to beat the OG IO, Giannis?
They've definitely looked to go for something that's more early game centric. The last two drafts, they went for the Tidehunter, the TA, and the Chug, or Tidehunter, TA, and Lifestealer. Very slow paced draft. This time, they get their Chen. They've been very good with the Chen, as we saw them also playing it earlier on today. They're very good at playing aggressive and making moves around the map, either with GH playing a Tusk or GH playing Earthspread. I feel like I always see them having one of these two combos with that Chen to make those moves around. And Bristleback too. This is a very early paced hero, as we see the goo as well as the spray get picked up at 1 and 2, and you are pretty much the strongest hero on the map when you have that. And we see them immediately set up with an aggro tri-lane. They have a headdress on KuroKy for that extra health regen, and they really want to put the pressure to shut down Ana on the IO.
Let's see if they can do it. We saw some scary stats on the Ana IO low into this game. He is 19-1 in the last 20 games he's played. And of course, here at TI, 5-0. No one has been able to beat him. Liquid are going to have to see if they can do it in their last chance here.
N0tail, this is the goo that we're talking about, that really strong level 1. Are they going to actually be able to dive him, though? He has a shield available, and they actually can. Doesn't have a salve on himself this time around, though, like he did in the last 2 games. And also, I believe with the carry IO, not every single time, but they did have an Elder Titan with it most of the times, where that's where I feel like it helps a lot when you're playing into aggro lanes, because you cannot aggro tri-lane into an Elder Titan most of the time. So this time it's going to be a Baron who's not nearly as strong as that ET.
Oh, we'll see Liquid with that start, able to make sure that the creep wave meets underneath the tower so they can get them a creep equilibrium in their favor. Very interesting to watch some of these other lanes, see how Weehaw can get off to a start against the Topson mid Gyro. He should have a decent shot here, right, in this 1v1?
Yeah, he should be able to. He has higher base damage vents. Yeah. The thing about Gyrocopter is you have this godly animation. One of the best animations in the game that's absolutely instant on range shows, and you have missiles, and you have a Tiny who's going to constantly be throwing Weehaw back into the tower.
That's a lot of hands there, and it all looks to add up. They drag him back. He's got the point in the win run, looking for the body blocks. JerAx won't be able to quite get it entirely, but still able to get a good amount of damage done. Weehaw in mid.
Has to be careful for that next toss back as JerAx is going to go for it again.
He is. JerAx going deep behind the tower, seeing if he can have the control. Up he goes with the toss. Topson closing in. Wimrun's back online. As Weehaw can hold his distance, but OG already getting incredibly aggressive in this middle lane.
It's the way they like to play with JerAx on the Tiny. Just run around, shut down the mid laner. Doesn't matter what hero it is, you're going to be able to just throw him every single time he walks up for a toss. Weehaw, he gets his full salve off.
We're certainly seeing, though, down bottom, this tri-lane, it is able to bring these heroes down pretty low. Obviously, the question is if they can push them over the edge and get the kills, but the aggression certainly is there. And once the level 2s come out for the 3 members of Liquid, we'll see that pressure amped up even more. JerAx is going to come down, help turn this duo into a tri-lane from OG as Kuro pops the Purifier, won't save him. Miscall from N0tail, gets the kill. Now Ana's going to be the focus. Miracle and GH trying to get on top of him, but a quick body block from N0tail and a shield handed over to Ana will mean that Liquid cannot chase any further.
Just eyes on JerAx, right? JerAx is going to just move from lane to lane to lane, looking to just punish the aggressive tri-lane of Liquid, as they can't really respond too well. Chen is not really a hero that wants to be moving around TPing at all. It's GH who has to respond to any types of ganks that JerAx does, and it doesn't feel nearly as good as an Earthspirit, and he's kind of limited on mana as well.
So it sort of talks about the mid, talks about the bottom. This top lane, 1v1, Seb versus Mind Control, the Timber versus the Omni. What do we expect from this matchup?
I haven't gotten to see this one too often, but I think that they're both going to just be able to farm. I think Seb might actually be able to bully Mind Control a bit, just because you don't have to worry too much about your regen. While on Mind Control, you have to worry about your mana sometimes. But I think they're both going to just end up trading farming, pulling creep waves and whatnot like that, so should be relatively even.
Definitely seeing, though, this pressure down bottom is continuing to make sure it's very hard for Ana to farm with the rolling onto N0tail. Liquid. I'll take one out of the lane. Ana only being able to get 4 CS so far in this bottom lane. Already Liquid's change up in draft and different approach. It's looking so much better here in the first 3 minutes of game 4.
Oh, for sure. 16 and 11 on Miracle, right? He's getting all these free last hits and denies.
They are running this bottom lane perfectly, keeping this tri-lane advantage.
Top is just manipulation of creep waves, because I think Mind Control is starting to realize that if he stays toe-to-toe versus Timber, he's going to have some problems, so he's cutting the wave. Bottom. JerAx is running over toward the area. He's only level 1, though, so still not having that stun available for the Tiny just yet to go for those toss back into the tower and stun plays. And it looks like they will be constantly burning the mana of N0tail with this Satyr Mind Stealer that is keeping him very low on mana.
For Liquid, obviously interested to keep this pressure on, and then they have to find objectives with it. Ana as the IO will have that comeback mechanic, sort of once he hits the level 4, going into the jungle, using the spirits to farm those neutrals. So they've got to make as much as they can happen in this favorable lane setup that Liquid have. Another commitment on towards Ana, separating him from N0tail. He'll be able to tether himself back across, see if they can beat down through this overcharge. N0tail pops the stick charges, the spirits are out. And turn towards Miracle, but Mango's popped. He still has the mana to fight with. Another shield will hold them off.
It really is a pretty fun lane, though, coming out from OG, right? He's like, oh, I just heal the IO, and the IO heals me. So they're going to be able to always do that and be able to remove all those boost stacks off with the shield as well. It's actually a really clever lane coming out. And he's even maxing, or putting multiple points inside that miscoil for the health efficiency. He miscoils the IO and heals himself for even more because of that.
5-minute runes come up.
And OG, they want to try and tackle this 3-on-3. N0tail doing his best to draw their attention away. The avalanche is out onto Miracle. Jax tries to chase the other, but Liquid, they'll be able to grab both of them. Taking the bouncy runes away. Only the one going the way of OG up top. As Liquid continuing to look like this different approach to the lanes is certainly the answer they've been looking for.
They're not killing them, though. They've only killed N0tail once because of how many stick charges they're getting fed down here. The Bristleback just constantly spamming the Quill, spamming the Goo. Everyone's sitting at like 10 stick charges every time they try to make an aggressive move. Now Miracle is up a bit far here.
Jax is going to be able to make sure that Miracle cannot make the smooth run up towards the top, and never shields out for N0tail. He may be low, but he's more than safe. Jax with the toss-up. GH pops the stick charges. He's trying to escape N0tail, keep it on top of him. That Aphotic Shield's going to pop soon. It may not even need to as GH is running. One more right click or a miscoil out. That'll do it. The shield pops to get the kill. And it does fall though. Liquid getting the trade.
Nice. And he actually did not pop his magic one there. A bit too much damage coming in. I think the Alpha Wolf and the right click from the Chen caught him off guard how much it actually was there. But mid is the big one. These rotations from Jerax from earlier, Topson has over a full level advantage onto Weehaw.
He's struggling.
34-13 to the 19-4. This animation and just getting that extra rate fan early really coming into play. And on him.
Roll out for GH, but a great toss from Jerax keeps Ana on top of the Earth Spirit. Spirits are out though. So the damage looks like it may not be there unless they can keep the vision, and they can. Tossed in, stick charge pop though. GH has got Miracle by his side. They won't be able to dive for him, and Liquid keep them all alive.
So they've done a good job bottom of making sure that Miracle's farmed. Topson though getting aggressive top onto Mind Control. Should have chased this one, but the counter out of mana. They popped the Shrine for some mana for the Timber, but Mind Control will be fine. Liquid being forced to use their bottom Shrine too, because the one thing that they're doing, they were putting pressure on and they were getting good farm, but the sustain that's actually coming out from this bottom lane is just too much for them a bit here, as Ana is starting to get this farm built up to those 20 last hits.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The mid lane seems to be the focus for Liquid. They've left Miracle alone. They're trying to collapse in onto Topson. Topson gets the cooldown off, but the Hellbear smashes in with the clap. Liquid making these moves around Kuro and his army. Getting the pressure on, catching out Topson mid. Got to keep this tempo up. They're starting to really show that they have within them what OG's been bringing in the first 7 minutes of the last 2 games. They can match this tempo.
And look at Miracle, but down bottom, even pulling away these 2 heroes, even though they do have all their one charges built up now to up to 17 as well. He is pushing them away from the creep wave. That double sustain though coming into play.
Back to Morris mid, another collapse here from Liquid as they look to dive in on Jerax. They get the kill. Topson's going to look to try and keep himself on top of Kuro. He has his army ready to tank some of the damage. Topson is not going to be able to get this kill by the looks of it. Another one charge from Kuro keeps him back alive. The cooldown will be dropped, but Liquid, they can get themselves out of range of it.
They have so much damage in the mid lane right now from Liquid. With Weehaw rushing that Javelin build, he's able to actually punch back onto Topson pretty hard there every time he does commit forward for a kill. Gives a lot of time to Seb though, as they made that 4-man rotation earlier. Now he's all the way up to level 8. He's got the max reactive armor.
Same to be said though for Mind Control. We're seeing pretty much a continuation of an even farm between these offlaners.
Yep.
They're both getting exactly the same amount out of this top half of the map. And so far, no one else has been interested in coming over and getting involved. Now, though, that will change. GH and Kuroki, they're looking towards Seb. Gonna bring in Weehaw as well. Weehaw with the focus fire. Have they got the control? There's the rolling with the stun. Shackle shot follow up from Weehaw. Along with the power shot. Will do it. Liquid making the maneuvers to put Seb's happy little time on that top lane to an end.
Great use of the Divine Favor there from Kuroki to bring Weehaw around freely and saving his TP. So he can constantly be able to move around the map if he has to respond to anything else. Very nice aggressive move, and that's the Javelin coming into play. Since it's magical damage, it's 100 bonus magical damage when you use that Focus Fire versus Timber. Who cares if he has 25 reactive armor stacks? They get themselves a decent amount of pressure on the tower too, getting it down to about 700 HP right now.
Seb's going to come back in, make sure that tower doesn't fall too early.
GH is already moving his way toward top. They don't have another Divine Favor to bring into the Wind Ranger.
So I feel like it's a hard kill without that damage that Weehaw offers.
Feels like an impossible kill without Weehaw.
The three of them can only sort of sit at the side and watch as Seb farms the wave under the tower.
Yeah.
See what their intentions are with this move. 10-minute runes are going to come up. See if Liquid can keep a favorable hold of them this time. Mid lane's going to be the focus. TP's coming immediately and he shakes the shackle off actually before the missile connects. He's able to turn right click into Jerax. He's tanking the tower to Jerax. Lines with the power shot. He's not going to be able to find it though. Doesn't get the angle and Jerax, he can continue to walk away. Liquid are chasing. Another power shot will be available in a second. Can Weehaw hit it? He's going to try. Not going to find it. Jerax. He's got the position to TP out behind the trees and will make it back to safety, but Weehaw does flip.
They waste so much of their time there, and even a TP to protect Weehaw. What does that mean? That's just the space. This is what OG wants to do, right? Allow Ana to catch back up after he had a little bit of a rough laning start and get the Dominator, and the Dominator is finished now at this 10-minute mark. So that is where you really start to get enabled quite a lot in the IO to make your moves around the map. But Liquid, they're trying to keep the pressure going. Don't let OG get away with that greed that they're trying to pull off right now. Try to get some tower damage. Every single time a tower is going to start getting pressure, though, you'll see this rotation by Seb. He wants to make sure they don't actually get any of these towers too early. He doesn't have many reactive stacks built up just yet, but he will be okay.
Mid lane Topson. You see a dive here from Weehaw. Weehaw tried to close in for the kill, but he didn't have the damage to bring Topson down. Topson was able to just drop the combos. Weehaw, he got in close range for that attempt.
And you got to be careful as well. Ana, he's jungling in the area, so he can just easily tether top. I don't know if you guys did the overcharge there, I didn't catch the end of it, but he can easily tether it and he can get a little bit of extra HP regen that comes into play.
Looking for Jerax.
Jerax again.
And then with the magnetized, TPs will now start to come into play. Topson's here, Jerax still alive. They're trying their best to hunt him down through the trees. He'll be able to toss back the Hellbait Smasher. Rocket's dropped to keep the magnetized going. They'll get the kill on Jerax. See if they can find anything in return. OG Topson is on top of Kuroky. GH, Weehaw joining the gang. They're surrounding Topson with a Divine Favor, bringing Weehaw in. Liquid, they're going to be able to get both of them. Kuroky making these moves across the map, bringing in the team when required. Kuro, he's 3, 1, and 4. Every single one of these 7 kills has been down to Kuro and his map movements.
And his aggressive plays. And they're not expecting these recalls. They're not expecting these Divine Favors at all. Every single time he's been able to set it up. And he's almost got a mech finished up on this Chen so early on. It's going to be a lot of burst heal. And like the draft panel mentioned, you look at Liquid's draft and they're really trying to set the tempo. They're trying to be aggressive, get early towers down with this Chen, with this Bristleback, and try to get an early roast and get that big advantage to take advantage of carry IO. You have to try to take advantage of it somehow.
They're waiting there on the high ground. They'll immediately burst through the Aphotic Shield. N0tail is trying to run. The Smasher's after him. N0tail's got the backup of Ana. Mind Control's going to head in. Liquid, they're diving on forward. GH will be kept safe by the Heavenly Grace. Kuro, they have done a little tip by this time. Will be surrounded. The 4 of them take down Kuro, put an end to his reign across the map. As OG responding in their numbers now in that middle lane, they won't let Liquid get away with this any longer.
They still, OG has a very strong way to fight, even in the early game. Even if they do have a greedy IO pick, it's what it provides you, especially when you have a Gyro. Gyro is all about that early fights. Same thing with Tiny. And even Timbersaw, but Seb right now, we know he doesn't really want to show up except for the tower defenses. And he's also going to be matching that Chen, who's going to be an early mech. It's actually going to be a mech Timbersaw since they have IO. So this amount of sustain that could come out from OG pretty soon is going to be pretty hard for Liquid to deal with this. Seb, he actually jumps forward for GH.
It goes deep. Weeha's going to turn with the focus by Seb. Of course, he's got the max reactive armor. Thanks to that, Shackle won't lag. Seb continue to back off. Chains out, back over the river. He's fine. Liquid will try and turn their attention towards Topson, but with N0tail by his side, they cannot dive up to the high ground. Seb holding them back.
5 Liquid heroes in the mid lane. Trying to brawl again at the same time as last game. It's 13 minutes in, and there's 9 heroes, 8 heroes positioned around this area. They want to go for N0tail, but he's got ulti.
Miracle's going to continue to chase this under the Titchu, and they will get it. Seb is trying to turn. The missile is out onto Kuro. Does Seb have the burst? Not quite. Magnetizes out. Seb has to retreat. Shackle does latch. Liquid. They've got the lockdown. They've got the roll call. The kickback. They'll crush him. Liquid. They're diving again.
They want top.
They got a bit of a flavor of how OG was playing in his last 2 games, and they're saying we could do it too. Topson past the cooldown. They won't go too crazy. They'll let him live. They don't want to dive up towards the tier 3. They know TPs are coming in.
They have to make sure they're hitting the tower because the side lanes are being split push. Ana as well as Jerax are actually pressuring these other 2 towers. And they're not even going to get this one here. It's down into deny range. OG might just be able to deny that mid tower if they choose to do so. Liquid with an overzealous dive there, not losing anybody, but the side lanes giving a lot to that Tiny as well as that Io. And we know the timing, it's all about just waiting for Io to get not only Aghanims, but get that level 15 talent. That's what OG wants.
He's diving in. Onto Kuro with the flag as well, and the dog will not keep Chen alive today.
Dire's middle tower is
GH.
under attack.
Will not get TP'd out. Jerax actually TP's in and gets the toss off at the exact timing.
And OG's actually not done, as they are still hunting for action. Miracle the focus. Thompson's got a DD, a power shot does come out. Lands on Thompson.
A bit too aggressive there with Thompson. I'll throw down the call down just to clear the
The
way.
Shackle actually brings it across the trees, but no tail. He's there with the shield. Thompson goes for the TP out. The focus fire down. The damage is not enough.
Right.
Thompson saved. A spray on the way out. Thompson will escape. Liquid, it's 9-6 in their favor, but the net worth difference, it's pretty much even. As you say, sure, Liquid, they are bringing the aggression, finding the kills, but space is being given to those important members of OG.
Yeah, especially Ana. Halfway to that Aghanims already. Level 11 finished up. He's got the Spirits applied slow, so he can fight as soon as he has that Aghanims, of course, with the talent, but the big one is that 15, that extra Spirit Hero damage that does come out. But yeah, look at this immediately. Seb now positioned up top. He wants to push the top tower as soon as Liquid is positioned in mid. And Jerax already looking to set up down toward the bottom lane. Liquid have to just get these towers. Have to get some type of map advantage here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Once Ana has the Aghanims, things are going to start getting very tricky for Liquid when they turn up like this.
Yeah.
The Spirits will be out.
Yeah, and they have Bristle. That's a good thing, right? Bristle can be good versus the Io. If you can get on top of him, the goo. You don't have the highest armor traditionally on the Io, but he's versus an actual counter. Timbersaw, very good versus Bristle back at all stages.
Structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under
Just that
attack.
farm game, OG.
Got mind control. Looking towards Seb up top, but it's hard really for these heroes without the shackle shot or GH getting a beautiful angle. It's very hard for them to kill Seb.
It's very hard for them to kill pretty much anybody if they don't have Weehawk. If they can catch some of the supports and running around by themselves, they can maybe pick them up, but they really need Weehawk for the damage. The rest of them do not really provide that at this point of the game versus what they're against. Magnetize can be good, but there's a lot of ways that they can deal with it. Not only with the tankiness of how they are, but also there's an Abaddon who can just remove it a lot of the times.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And Seb, he could just get away with this, pushing this wave into the tier 2 every single time, knowing that sure, if Liquid do come for him, it's going to be so many of their resources that it's probably going to be worth it for OG to have Seb positioned that aggressively and for him to draw that much attention towards him. Thompson's getting space, Ana's getting space.
Look at that build by Thompson. Diffusal Gyrocopter.
Wait, what?
Diffusal. Gyrocopter. I just said it.
Stretch Diffusal Gyrocopter. Fancy that, Thompson.
So
doing something I don't think I've ever seen this.
I mean, it's interesting because it's going to provide a lot of mana burn, which is going to be annoying for
Okay.
It gives you a lot of agility. It gives you ways to run around and chase heroes down, I guess. It's different.
They've got the kill squad getting mobile again.
They can transition this into a Roche. DD rune on the Bristleback. They've got Pipe. Yeah, they can easily do this one with the Medallion as well. However, OG, they know what's going on. They can look to contest this as well. As do they have the Aghanims finished up? It's almost there for Ana. And they're pinging it. Now they're aware of it, but it looks like it's almost too low for them to contest with all this minus armor. As Liquid will get away with this one.
And let's see what they can do with it. Aegis, Pipe, they have those early tools to start making moves. Start looking towards some of these tier 2 towers.
Ags is complete now on the IO. So Ags IO finished, and we're about to hit 20 minutes. So I'm assuming that OG's gonna buy the tome, give it to that IO so he gets the extra spirit damage. Liquid, they gotta group up and try to get something big here. They gotta catch out these backlines heroes. They really have to get on top of the IO with a nice shackle shot for we gotta have to focus fire it. They have to control and stun the IO.
Hunting for Ana. and won't quite find. But definitely, yeah, thinking about it, this diffusal blade, I see what you mean. It does make sense, right? There is, you look at what Miracle and Mind Control in particular.
They're completely dependent on their mana.
And they're dependent on the fights being drawn out, right?
Yeah.
They revel in situations where the fight continues. And sure, they can't kill them quickly necessarily, OG, but Thompson, he can burn, he's going to take their mana away, and they're going to be essentially sort of these useless, tanky targets on the front that OG can then ignore and look for the more volatile kills.
And he's acting as this like, super frontliner. And Bristleback is a hero that if you don't have mana, you don't have damage. So if he's just going to be burning the Bristle, I can see it. You know, I can see it. And he's super farmed, and look how tanky he is. 2,000 HP on the Gyro. There's going to be an MKB finish now for Weehaw, so his damage is going to be very high as Seb's getting slowed down. He's got greens available, but he's getting burst.
I mean, they're bringing him low. He's got the shield. Now they'll be able to turn. Cooldowns drop down by Thompson. And here we have it. Mana's gone. He's able to pop the stick, get him a fair bit of it back, and he's able to head back in, pushing OG back behind the racks. They're getting a good amount of damage onto this tier 3 tower. They quit. They push up.
On Io. That Spirit Hero damage is there now. Ana going to join the fray finally.
There we have it. Miracle's mana. It's pretty much entirely gone by Thompson's broken. Look at what GH is. Oh, but he can't get out. There's no mana. GH, he's dead. And now OG, they have that numbers advantage for this defense. They'll try and change the board. Thompson, the one behind, brings Miracle down. Then the Shackle turn around. They're looking for Jarek. Jarek's backing away. Thompson focusing Miracle. Miracle's still out of mana because of this diffusion. Jarek, he's able to cover. The GA is out. We all will fall though. The magic damage is there for Thompson. Miracle's trying to run. Another stick charge pop, but Jarek can shut him off. In fact, Jarek, he's ready to try and look for more potentially. There's only the once. Thompson, he's on top of Kuro. Another cooldown there. The toss back into the combo. Jarek has the control. They're all getting picked apart as Mind Control falls. Miracle is surrounded. And they're all able to get this as well. OG, they will roll.
And they're even taunting. They toss him to the dragon. Holy crap. Thompson, the diffusal is absolutely working to burn all their mana.
But I don't think anyone would have expected to see Gyro, the deciding game. The diffusal blade Gyro, it is perfect for this point of the match.
He just did an insane amount of damage, front lines the entire time, and then Ana just has free reign to get all that Spirit Hero damage, and it's back completely the other way, and it feels like the control is just gone from them.
What do you do? When your mana's gone, what do you do?
Oh my god. OG starting to take over the game completely here.
Are fortified.
Showing new ways to play the game at this incredibly late moment in the tournament.
And now Thompson has an Aghanim's as well, so not only is his regular hits going to be proccing that... yeah, he's going to be burning a lot of mana.
And then just moving into the base now, OG. They're putting in, Flag Star supports, they put back, they'll focus Miracle. Miracle, looking at himself, out and away, the missile is out, they're trying to put the heals to save him, but Miracle's dead. Jackson's in with the combo, they'll bring down GH. GH has buyback, he'll buy back immediately. Weehaw's going to be back up in 5. Fortification is part, but OG, they're not going away.
They're too healthy. They still have greens available for Seb as well this whole time. They're pretty, No Tail's kind of low, but once they pop those greens, everyone's going to be topped off.
Tier 3's going down, 22 minutes again, and in a match where it looked like Liquid had the pace to maybe bring something different.
So farmed right now at this point in the game that Liquid, they're walking out together, but like I was mentioning before, there is one stone on GH, and that is it. So his team fight potential, and he's pretty much the only team fighter on the side of Liquid right now. It's just not there.
And OG's ready to go back and again. Jackson with the wrap around the combo down to Mind Control. Cooldown's there, Liquid has to back off. Again, Mind Control's mana pretty much got his ever pop the stick, get the GA off at least. Can they fight for the duration of it though? They're getting towards Seb. Heals a pop, sends back pretty much over for Jackson with another combo onto We Are stand up. We Are dead. Miracle's the new focus, the missile followed through. OG pushing Liquid back to the base. Mind Control out about the Thompson with his diffuser blade, picking them apart. Roll forward for GH for Seb, cuts him down on Shabram. Double kill. They're pushing on OG. Liquid getting forced back to the base. And Liquid have nothing. They have nothing to this. I can't believe what we're seeing in this game 4. OG, you thought you saw it all in game 2, you thought you saw it all in game 3, and then it is gone! OG, two-time TI champions, they've done it, Mark!
And in what a fashion! These last 3 games didn't even seem close. Literally, they had something going for themselves, but then they hit the brick wall. OG is the best team in the world. They are at a completely different level.
No question, they are so far ahead of anybody else that plays this game for a living. Game 2, 3, and 4 were absolutely ridiculous. The showing was magical from OG.
They just seem to know exactly what to do with whatever draft they're giving. It doesn't matter. They have so many different drafts, so many different play styles. They can execute all of them. Liquid seemed like they stood no chance after that first game.